Hey guys, what is going on? McMole2 here. Welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm bringing you footage of Thrawn inside of a Chirpatine team for Phase 3. It has been theorized that with the fracture on Thrawn where reduces the counter chance on raid bosses by 30%, this would mean that the B2 Rocket Trooper only have a 5% counter chance on the Chirpatine teams, and this would lead to massive amounts of damage with the team if you just sub in Thrawn in place as one of the tanks. I am happy to confirm that this is indeed the case, and with this team I end up doing 2.1 million damage. Someone else has already done 2.3 million. So I'm going to go ahead and break down the mods I'm using on Thrawn. I'll talk a little bit about what I'm using on Palpatine, as speed is going to be key for him to quickly build up the shock and the turn meter boosts. So yeah, I'll go ahead and talk about the mods, and then we'll talk about the overall strategy and how to build up this team properly. So, looking at this team, you can see that it's the basic Chirpatine team, but instead of Stormtrooper Han, you have at Grand Admiral Thrawn. This is for a reason, which I will explain in the overall strategy when we talk about the team and how it works. So, looking at the mods for Emperor Palpatine first, you can see that I have him modded for a decent amount of speed, about 213, with a crit chance set thrown on him, sitting about 37% crit chance. It's not ideal. The trick here, though, is you need to stack up speed on Palpatine. And this is because if you don't have that bonus speed on him, you're not going to be able to quickly build up that speed for his shock to help get all those droids moving, because you want to get him going with the infinite shocks on the B2 Rocket Trooper before it has a chance to shoot its large cannon, and preferably also before one of the droids with maneuvering orders basically does his big hit and does a lot of damage to your team. So getting a good speed of at least 210 on him is quite vital. And then going over to Grand Admiral Thrawn, you'll notice that my Admiral is only gear level 8 right now. So I'm throwing a lot of speed and health and protection mods on him. I'm stacking as much protection on him as I can because you want to keep him alive for the entire fight. And this is because if Thrawn dies at any point during the fight, that fracture will disappear. And if that fracture goes, you're going to lose that counter chance. So stack as much health and protection on him. Do not mod him for speed. You do not want speed on him unless it's absolutely necessary to get the fracture built up before Emperor Palpatine gets his infinite shocks going. So avoid speed on him at all costs and instead go for health and protection. So with that, let's go ahead and take a look at the strategy for this team and how to get this team going without Stormtrooper Han in there. So I mentioned earlier that you don't want Stormtrooper Han in your team, and that is because with Han in there when he's tanking, he is going to give turn meter to your other allies whenever he takes damage. And the thing here is, once Thrawn has that fracture up, you do not want him gain any turn meter. And so with Han in there, you ideally want both of your tanks still up once Palpatine goes into his infinite loop of basic attacks. And with that, if the B2 ever counters and hits Thrawn, that's going to be a lot of turn meter for Thrawn, and if Thrawn goes again once the target's fractured, that fracture is gone. And remember, with fracture takes away 30% counter chance from raid bosses. So this allows him to basically minimize the B2's counter chance to 5%, and that is why your team is doing so much damage here, is because of all of that reduction counter chance. So that's why your Palpatine is able to keep going like this, where he just keeps going with his basic and going, and there's almost never any counters. And that's why you're going to get such a huge increase of damage on your Chirpatine teams. And by the way, I'm totally calling this team Chirpathrawn now. We'll see how that goes. Maybe you'll stick around. Hashtag Chirpathrawn. Who knows? Anyways, so one other thing that you need to be careful of with this is Thrawn can counter when a target's fractured. If Thrawn takes damage and he counters, that is a basic attack, and that is 10% turn meter under a Chief Chirpa lead. So really, ideally, by the end of this, if you have a Zeta on his unique like I do, cough cough, he's going to have 100% counter chance. So really, he should be about 100% turn meter by the time the tank hits Enrage. Well, he didn't really seem to have a problem with coming out of fracture, so thankfully there was that. But really, again, don't use Han because you don't want that turn meter boost with the taunting. And so that's why you need a fast Palpatine, because you need to get these shocks out, and eventually there's going to be so many droids with buffs up that they're going to start doing damage. You're probably going to take a blast from the tank. I have not yet found out a way to counter that. So you're going to have to eat a blast from a tank more than likely. You're just not going to have enough turn meter boost without Han in there. So that's a necessary evil of this team. But really, the damage opportunity is pretty much double to triple what you're doing already. So it's a really, really nice trade-off. And of course, one other thing I should note here is that my Palpatine is not hitting that hard. He has about 37% crit chances you saw in the mods, but he didn't seem to crit that much, which is a shame. And of course, if Thrawn counters, he gives the boss defense down, but it may or may not be affecting Palpatine's special attacks. I can't tell here. Either way, it doesn't matter. So once you have that going, you could definitely stack up more offense on Palpatine. Get into a good speed rhythm. Make sure you can get the infinite cycle started at a decent time before your tanks take way too much damage from all the droids and everything. And then once you have that good speed, start modding your Palpatine for more offense and crit chance. Really build up that damage. I've got someone who says he can get 16k crits on Palpatine. With that, you're going to be looking at a good 3 million damage at least with this Palpatine team, with with this Chirpathrawn team, hashtag Chirpathrawn team. That's really a good amount of damage for a Phase 3 team, with just an Admiral Thrawn switched in for Stormtrooper Han. So yeah, Thrawn definitely a very, very viable raid team. I already covered in my theory crafting video, which I'll link down below, with a Zader team with Krennic, Death Trooper, and TIE Fighter Pilot, and Shore Trooper thrown in. You, with a Thrawn, sorry I forgot to add Thrawn, and that Zader on his unique, you're going to look at another Empire team that could really do massive amounts of damage here. So anyways, guys, let me know what you think about this team. If you have questions, feel free to ask below. You guys know I'm pretty good at answering questions. So I know this is a interesting video. It's basically a first attempt at it, getting the proof of concept out. Keep experimenting with it. But anyways, guys, feel free to like and share this video. Not a lot of people are going to be very, very interested in seeing how Thrawn does in the raids. And always, guys, feel free to subscribe to my channel for more content in the future. And as always, guys, I will talk to you all later. I'll let the rest of this video play out, and you guys enjoy the rest of your day.